Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah,
Today we're going to be talking all about malware,
that's right.
and we're going to be using a source from the FTC.
The Federal Trade Commission.
Yes,
To look at.
to really dig into what it is, how to spot it, and what to do if you think you have it.
Absolutely.
And most importantly, how to protect yourself from it.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, so what is malware? I feel like I hear this word thrown around all the time,
Sure.
and it sounds really ominous and scary.
Yes.
But I don't actually know that I could give someone a good definition of it.
Well, it really does sound scary. And malware is basically any software that gets installed on your device without you knowing about it. And it's designed to do something bad.
Uh-huh.
So it's really just a broad term for anything that is going to try to harm your computer,
Yeah.
your phone, your tablet, anything like that.
So it's not just one thing, it's like a whole category
It's a whole category
of digital bad guys.
of bad stuff, yeah. And there are different types of malware, and they all do different things, but ultimately, we can kind of categorize them.
Okay.
So, you have viruses, which can make your computer crash or delete files.
Right.
You have spyware, which is more like a stalker.
Uh-huh.
It secretly records everything you do, your keystrokes, the websites you visit, even passwords.
Ooh, that's groupy.
Yeah. And then you have ransomware, which is like a digital kidnapping.
Oh, wait?
It locks you out of your own files and demands a ransom, usually in cryptocurrency,
Wow.
to give you back the key.
And there's no guarantee that even if you do pay the ransom, they will actually unlock your stuff.
That's right.
Oh, man. This is starting to sound like a horror movie.
It is.
So how do we avoid becoming the victim?
Well, I think the first thing to realize is that a strong defense is really your best weapon.
Right.
You want to have some kind of security software.
Okay.
Think of this as a digital bodyguard for your device.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the lookout for any malicious programs.
So it's like a bouncer at a club.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, so we need a good bouncer.
We need a good bouncer.
But I mean, even with the toughest bouncers, I imagine that some things can still slip through the cracks.
Well, sure, and that's why it's so important to make sure that your security software is updated.
Right.
Think of it like getting your booster shots.
Uh-huh.
It just helps your system recognize and fight off the newest malware strains.
Okay, that makes sense. But like we were saying, I feel like even if you have all the right precautions,
Right.
sometimes these digital bad guys will use like sneaky tactics to try and get you.
Oh, absolutely. They're getting more sophisticated all the time.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that we should look out for?
Well, one of the most common tactics that we see is something called phishing.
Okay.
And this is where you might get an email or a text message that looks like it's coming from a legitimate source like your bank or a favorite online store,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not.
Yeah.
And often they try to create a sense of urgency. They tell you that your account's been compromised or that you need to update your information immediately.
Right.
And so people panic and they click on the link or they open the attachment, and that's how they download the malware onto their device or
Yeah.
give the attacker access to their login credentials.
So they prey on people's fear and kind of make them not think straight.
Exactly.
So the big takeaway there is never click a link in an email unless you are 100% certain
Right.
that it is legit.
That's right.
What about those scary pop-ups
Oh, yeah.
that will warn you that you have a virus and they tell you to call this tech support number?
Sure.
I've definitely seen those.
Those are fake security warnings.
Okay.
They're designed to scare you into calling a scammer
Uh-huh.
who will then try to trick you into giving them remote access to your computer
Oh, wow.
or paying for bogus tech support.
Wow. It's amazing how sophisticated these scams are getting.
It really is. And another sneaky tactic is they'll use bogus software ads, offering, amazing deals that are just too good to be true.
Right.
And they'll lead you to download counterfeit software that's actually malware in disguise.
So I guess the big takeaway here is be skeptical.
Yes,
Don't click on anything that looks suspicious.
that's right.
And if you're looking to download software, go directly to the official website.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think being aware of these common threats is probably a really good first step in protecting yourself.
Absolutely. But, even with the best defenses, sometimes malware can still slip through the cracks.
Okay, so let's say, despite our best efforts, we do start to notice some strange behavior.
Sure.
How do we know if we've actually been infected with malware? What are the telltale signs?
Well, think of it like your device is trying to send you an SOS.
Okay.
One of the most obvious signs is a sudden slowdown.
Mm-hmm.
If your computer or your phone is lagging or freezing or crashing, more often than usual.
So like when you have a bunch of different programs running at the same time.
Exactly. But with malware, you didn't open all those programs?
Right.
Another red flag is changes to your web browser.
Okay.
You know, has your homepage suddenly changed without your permission?
Yeah.
Or maybe you're constantly getting redirected to websites that you didn't intend to visit.
Oh, yeah, that's super annoying.
That's a sign that something's not right.
I always think that I've accidentally clicked on something.
Well, it might not be an accident.
Okay.
Malware often hijacks your browser settings to try to control your online experience.
And then, of course, there are pop-up ads.
Oh, yes.
Well, not all pop-up ads are malicious if you see, like, a sudden increase.
Right.
Especially on websites where you wouldn't normally expect them.
Yeah,
That could be a sign of malware,
that could be a sign.
trying to make money off of you.
Yeah, they're trying to get ad revenue.
So it's not just one single symptom, but it's like a combination
Right?
of things that you might notice
Exactly.
that should raise a red flag.
And if you notice several of these signs together,
Uh-huh.
it's time to take action.
Okay.
And the sooner the better.
So let's say we've spotted the signs and we're pretty sure we have a malware problem.
Sure.
What do? Should we just throw the computer out the window and start fresh?
Well, that's a bit drastic.
Okay.
There are definitely steps you can take to fight back.
Okay.
First and foremost, don't panic.
Right.
It's important to act quickly, but rationally.
Okay, so deep breaths.
Deep breaths.
What's the first step?
The very first thing you should do is stop logging into any online accounts,
Okay.
especially those with sensitive information like your bank accounts, your email, or social media.
So go into lockdown mode.
Lockdown mode.
Okay.
You want to assume the worst, that the malware has already captured your login credentials.
Okay. And then what?
Next, you'll want to make sure that your security software is updated.
Okay.
If you don't have security software installed, now is the time to get it.
Do you have a particular type of security software that you recommend?
There are a lot of great options out there.
Okay.
Do some research, read reviews, ask friends for recommendations.
The key is to find a reputable and reliable security software provider.
Okay, so we've stopped logging into sensitive accounts,
Right.
and we've updated our security software.
Correct.
What's next?
Now it's time to unleash your digital warrior.
Okay.
Run a full system scan.
Okay.
This will allow your security software to thoroughly check your device for any hidden malware and hopefully remove it.
So we're letting the digital exterminators do their thing.
That's a great way to put it.
But even if they catch everything, wouldn't it be a good idea to change our passwords?
Absolutely. It's always better to err on the side of caution.
Okay.
Change all your passwords, especially for accounts that contain sensitive information.
And speaking of adding extra layers of security,
Right.
what about two-factor authentication?
Two-factor authentication is a fantastic way to protect your accounts.
Yeah.
It's like having a double lock on your door.
Okay.
It requires you to provide 2 forms of identification to access your account, typically your password and a code sent to your phone or email.
Right.
So even if someone steals your password,
Yeah.
they still can't get in without that second factor.
It's like having a digital bodyguard in a security system.
Exactly.
Efficient.
Enable it wherever possible.
Okay, so we've stopped logging into sensitive accounts. We've updated our security software.
Yes.
We've run a full system scan. We've changed all of our passwords.
Right.
And we've enabled two-factor authentication.
You are doing great.
Anything else?
Well, if you've done all that, you've taken some seriously impressive steps to protect yourself.
But sometimes malware can be particularly stubborn or sophisticated.
So what do we do in those cases? Wave a white flag.
I hope not.
Surrender to the digital bad guys.
No, there are other things you can do.
Okay, good.
First, you can check your device's warranty.
Oh, yeah.
Some manufacturers offer tech support that includes malware removal
Right.
as part of their service.
So it might already be covered.
It might.
What if the warranty doesn't cover it?
Then you might want to consider calling a reputable tech support company.
Okay.
Just make sure to do your research and choose a company that's trustworthy and has a proven track record.
Right. So don't just Google, computer repair and call the first number you see.
Exactly. And you can always ask friends and family for recommendations, too.
Yeah. Word of mouth is always good. And of course, there's always the option of turning to a tech-savvy friend or family member
Oh,
to
absolutely.
help you.
Sometimes the best help is closer to home than you think.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So to recap, if we suspect malware, we go into lockdown mode.
Lockdown mode.
We update or install security software.
Yes.
We run a scan, and we change all our passwords.
That's right.
And then if we need extra help, we can check our warranty,
Uh-huh.
call tech support, or phone a friend.
You got it.
That's a lot to remember.
It is, but it's worth it. Knowledge is power when it comes to cybersecurity. The
Yeah.
more you understand about malware, the better equipped you'll be to protect yourself.
Well, I feel like I've learned a ton today.
Me too.
Yeah, it's been a real eye-opener.
It has.
Um, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of malware, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this conversation?
I think the most important thing is to be proactive.
Okay.
Think about all the devices that you use every day.
Yeah.
Your computer, your phone, your tablet. Are they protected?
Yeah. Yeah.
Take a few minutes to check your security settings. Make sure your software is up to date. Consider enabling two-factor authentication on your important accounts.
Okay.
A little prevention goes a long way.
Yeah, it's like a digital checkup.
It-
We take care of our physical health, so why not our digital health as well?
Exactly. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay safe out there.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay safe and malware-free.